Well, hello, and welcome back to A Course in Miracles, the workbook for students, and we're on lesson 188 today. The peace of God is shining in me now. Yeah. And as always, if you do nothing else but recite the day's idea to yourself, you'll be doing yourself a tremendous favor, and in course language, saving yourself a lot of time. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So if you do nothing else today, just recite the idea and sit with it, even for one breath, for a simple, short one breath meditation. The peace of God is shining in me now. The commentary for today's lesson says, why wait for heaven? Guess what? We don't have to. We don't have to. Now, this is an idea that maybe you were not taught when you were growing up. I certainly was not. As many of you know, I was raised in a couple of different, rather fundamentalist Christian traditions in the United States. As I've commented on several of these videos before, one of those churches my parents left when I was about 8 or 9, and the other one I left when I got my driver's license. So there are a lot of stories that go into that one. But that was the end of that even more fundamentalist church. Yeah. So I was not taught growing up that heaven is available right now, but for the choosing. That was an idea that was absolutely not proffered to me at all. It was a place, and we were, of course, in our own egoic projections and beliefs, we thought of it as a physical place, as in an actual location where we would go when we died. So the idea that it is here now, but for the asking, right? But for our own decision to experience the peace of God, our own decision that we and we alone are in charge of. Nobody else can make that decision for us. We get to do it, and we could do it right now if we so chose. These ideas may seem radical to you, and they did seem radical at one point to me until I actually took the time to practice these ideas in the workbook for students, took the time to digest some of this information and recognize that it's true. Part of me always recognized that the light of God, the peace of God, is shining in me right now. You want to know why it's shining in you and me and all of us? It's who we are. It's who we are. Now, one of the things that I love about A Course in Miracles is it doesn't mess around. Yeah. Jesus cuts right to the chase. Heaven's available right now. It's who you are. It's love. It's love, right? Mm-hmm. It's available right now, but for our choosing. Remember, a couple of lessons ago, we took a look here at the really poignant and very direct, very, very direct idea. I want the peace of God. And what should be implicit in that is I want nothing else. So when you decide that that's what you want and nothing else, that's what you experience. Because like it or not, resist it or not, we make the world as we see it. Again, another idea that I was not taught in fundamentalist Sunday school, not at all, is that we make the world. We weren't dropped here. Newsflash, we were not dropped here by puppeteers, by powers that have some kind of sick, twisted sense of humor and are laughing at our misfortune, that have set us up to spin our wheels and fail again and again, suffering and then die, right? That's not the way it is. We weren't set up and placed here so that we could have that tremendously horrible experience. We make the world as we see it. You want to know what that means? It means we can unmake it. If you decide that you want the peace of God, really decide that you want that and nothing else. This is what is available for us to experience it. So in today's lesson, it says that enlightenment, or if you prefer a different term for enlightenment, doesn't really make any difference, the word that you call awakening. Awakening to love, awakening to God, to yourself with a capital S, the truth of who you really are. Doesn't matter what it's called, it is a waking up. It is a pulling away of layers or a veil or parting of clouds, so to speak. It's merely a recognition. It's not actually a change. We don't need to wait for the physical body to peter out and cease to surface and go absolutely lifeless. We don't need to wait for that in order to experience the truth of who we are. Maybe to you a very radical idea, and if it is, so be it. That's good. Yeah. A Course in Miracles is designed to stir it up. Yeah? And it's the ego that's on the run. So when you experience discomfort at these workbook ideas, might be today, might have already happened. We're on lesson 188. I'm willing to guess that it's happened to you a lot already. More to come. Isn't that exciting? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's the ego that's uncomfortable. And the Course says in many different places that the ego is correct about one thing, that when you recognize its complete insubstantiality and non-existence, you'll leave it behind. Oh, it's absolutely right about that. So the question for each of us is, when will we make that choice? Now, in practicing today's idea that the peace of God is shining in me now, it's of course analogized to a light that we have the ability and the power to access. It is who we are, so it is not inaccessible. We could say, oh, I can't do that. Well, I mean, you can say that as much as you want. Truth is that you can, and I want you to know that you can, that I, and hopefully you, believe in your ability to access this. How do you do it? Read the commentary in today's idea. That applies every day, by the way. Read the commentary for the day's idea and then practice as best you can. We close our eyes and we feel this light. We allow it to shine. Meditation is simply one form of allowing. It is, truly. It's allowing the truth of who we really are to shine forth, to express itself, which is all that it wants to do. It's all it can do. Love can only extend itself. Love can only extend itself. So how do we practice this in daily life? Well, we practice forgiveness. We make the world as we see it. So we are responsible for that. So when it seems that other people have done something to you, with the thought system and with the help of A Course in Miracles, we come to see that that's not exactly the case. In fact, it's not the case at all. They've done nothing to you. There's no they. for starters, because there is no separation of any kind. Therefore, when we practice forgiveness according to the thought system of A Course in Miracles, we're forgiving everyone for something that they didn't do. It's a loving response to any situation. And that speeds up the process. It really does, because the peace of God is shining in you, shining in me, shining in you, shining in every single one of us right now. We have only to decide to access it. So when you practice this or any idea in the workbook, you can do it for as long as you want. I mean, really, like any meditation, one meditates for as long as one likes. I've always liked that sentence. One of my old teachers, Lama Michael Conklin, used to say that. One meditates in this way for as long as one likes. Now, that could be 5 seconds, or it could be an hour. I don't know. The beauty of the workbook ideas is that they're repeatable. They're resonant. The peace of God is shining in me now. They're, quite frankly, easier to recall than a lot of the other crap that we bombard ourselves with in the world, right? They're a lot easier to recall than that. And when we become habituated to it, attenuated to it, in other words, when we make it a habit and a practice, then it's even more effective because we can recall this wherever we are. We can recall the day's idea if we're driving in the car. You may not have the ability to stop and close your eyes and meditate. In fact, don't do that while you're driving. Thank you. Please and thank you. But it's something that is accessible, and it's very, very doable, no matter where you are, to remember the day's idea when you do, and just contemplate it, even if it's just for a couple of seconds. And the longer that you sit with the light that is you, the more profound the experience will be. Now, people ask, and it's a normal, quite a normal question for a spiritual seeker to ask, because we get impatient in the world, don't we? We want enlightenment on a platter. We want it delivered right now. And of course, there are people out there that guarantee that if you're going to sit their $12,000 retreat in Costa Rica, nothing against retreats, nor Costa Rica, which, by the way, is very beautiful. Even if you've never been, you'd love it. Yeah, go. Nothing against any of that, but people promise enlightenment, right? There are people that hawk it and sell it. It's a reawakening. It's a recognition. Therefore, it's a choice that each of us makes. So it's a natural question here in the world where we're bombarded with information and everything is high speed. It's now, now, now. People want enlightenment right now. And it's a natural question to ask, okay, when is this going to happen? Well, I don't know. I don't know. A question you could ask yourself is, when am I going to decide that that's what I want? I mean, have you really, truly, ask yourself this, have you really, truly decided that the peace of God is all that you want? All that you want. If you've not truly decided that, so be it. If you have, that's when you'll begin to feel this light more prevalently, more consistently. That's the idea. When you notice that as a result of this thought system, as a result of your own practice of forgiveness and extending love, when you notice that you're lighter, emotionally, spiritually lighter, when you notice that you're more loving, that you're more patient, that you're more forgiving, and that you laugh more, that the wrinkles on your forehead seem to disappear, that you just feel better, happier, more joyful. These are all indications that this is working. And it's an invite to us to go really general and double down on forgiveness and forgive all people Everyone, the entire world, yourself for dreaming the dream. Yeah? Everyone. It's our invitation to go big and to wake up. This is what this is teaching us the means. Jesus and the Holy Spirit are showing us the means to wake up. Now it's up to us to make that decision. So my hope, as always, is that you'll make that decision right now. And there's no time like right now to start practicing. Why? This is the only time that there is. It's all we have. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you back here with lesson 189 as we continue through this extraordinary self-study curriculum. Thanks for joining me.